Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is episode 13 of season 1 of the Creative Influencer podcast. Today we interview Chris McDonal. Chris, a musician and former IRS agent, shares what it's like to be the mother of two social media juggernauts, Ashley Nichole and Alisha Marie. She tells us about their development into who they are today and her role as a supportive mother. I am joined today by Chris. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, John.
You are the mother of two social media juggernauts.
Yes, I am.
And what are their names?
Ashley and Alisha.
Who's your favorite?
Oh, they're the same.
I thought I'd slip that in.
Love them the same.
Both daughters make their living on social media, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How many YouTube subscribers does Alisha have?
Ooh, right now on YouTube, I want to say probably 7.5 on the main channel.
It's 7.8 million on the main channel.
Oh, okay.
This is a mom test.
Yeah, let's see.
How many Instagram followers does Alisha have?
Ooh, I want to say 3-point-something million, maybe close to 4?
3.8 million.
Ooh.
How many Twitter followers does Alisha
Oh,
have?
that's hard. 5.2?
5.2, you got it right. All right, okay. So how many YouTube subscribers does Ashley have?
Oh, this is hard. 1.1 million.
You're right. How many Instagram followers does Ashley have?
Ooh, 3-point-something million? No, 1 million. Almost, 900,000.
It's somewhere in that neighborhood, and this is a visual, and you can't see it on a microphone. But my hand is covering these numbers.
I
so
know.
Chris
I'm
can't see
wishing
it.
that you would move it.
Okay. So when somebody says to you, "What do your daughters do?" What do you say?
I say that they are influencers. They have YouTube channels, and they're social media influencers.
And how would you explain an influencer to somebody over 70?
That is very difficult. You and I laughed about that a few years ago when we first met you.
But have you had people kind of look at you funny and say, "What are you talking about?"
Yes, multiple times. Probably the short answer is I would tell them, it's kind of like the new TV. I would tell them back in the day when we watched channels 2, 4, and 7, and 11,
right.
Well, now it's all YouTube.
And do people get it?
No, it takes quite a while.
And have you found an age kind of cutoff where people over a certain age, they kind of give you a funny look, and people under a certain age, well, of course, that's the thing.
Yes, I would say, just off the top of my head, maybe around 40s. And the 40s seems to be a cutoff. And actually, sometimes mid-30s to even.
Did you know it was even possible to make a living doing YouTube videos?
No, not until it began happening with the kids.
Growing up, was there ever any indication that Ashley or Alisha would be good in front of a camera?
Yes, looking back, they both loved to always take pictures and be in pictures. My husband has a line of photographers on his side of the family. His grandfather was he won awards, professional photographer and stuff. And that love and passion for photography was always in Jeff. So oftentimes on a weekend, he'd tell the kids, let's do photos. And they'd dress up and they'd get to see the lights and the cameras. And
Did
they
you
really
save
enjoyed
those?
that. We do. We have a lot of those, actually probably all of them at home. So they loved photography in general that way. And then Alisha, at a very young age, anytime, remember when digital cameras first came out?
Yes.
I know we're digging way back.
Yeah.
But, she would always just want to take it and endlessly take pictures. And then eventually she wanted actual video camera. But back then, remember, it was the 8 millimeter thing.
And it was huge.
They were gigantic. So I don't know how old she was, just elementary school, but we got her one year for her birthday. It broke, unfortunately, shortly after. And one day she asked me if she could take it apart. And I kind of not fully listening. I'm like, I'm probably cooking or something.
Right.
Sure, honey. A little later, I go up to her
Sure,
bedroom.
take apart that.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking. I go upstairs and then open the door. In her bedroom, there was the video camera in millions of tiny parts. And I go, wow, you were serious. I said, wow, Alisha, like, what are you doing? Like, what? She goes, Mom, I just had to know how it worked. So that was a clue right there of her interest.
Now, has Ashley done anything like that?
I don't remember her dissecting video cameras.
Because I had heard the story of Alisha doing that.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yes, that's true. No, I don't remember Ashley doing that, although she always really had an affinity for the photography and pictures.
Which is the older daughter?
Ashley.
Mm-hmm. And when they were little, did Ashley say what she wanted to do when she grew up?
You know, they both kicked around several ideas. Ashley was at one point going to be a musician, was going to be in a rock band and travel. Still may. I don't know. I don't know. And then she wanted to look into music therapy for a while. And actually, sign language interpreting, all that came really easy to her. But so she looked into that, but she ended up majoring in communications, which I thought was, wow, that was really fitting. Did a great job.
And what about Alisha?
Yeah, Alisha had talked about being a nutritionist for a while, and she had some other different interests that she explored. But I think the YouTube happened so early that even though she thought about being a dietitian and a nutritionist and taking those avenues, this really overshadowed that and got her attention pretty young because she started YouTube I believe 15 years old.
How did you find out she had started?
Well, she did not want me to find out initially. We laughed about that.
Surprise,
exactly.
A 15-year-old doesn't want their mom to know.
Exactly, because as my family and friends will tell you, and you know from our friendship, I can be over-analytical and somewhat of a worrywart or at times. And so because of that, and actually, I don't regret it, but Jeff and I didn't let them have even a MySpace when they were little. We said, no, it's just a little too dangerous. I mean, what about your privacy?
Right. Well, especially to a 14-year-old girl.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, they knew that they couldn't have a MySpace. So she was sure not wanting us to know about this new YouTube venture at 15 years old. So I guess apparently, from what I understand, and she kind of kept all this more private, right, from the parental units, as we call it. But she began to just really love watching YouTube tutorials way in the beginning when it first happened, when it first came out. And she would watch these YouTube tutorials, which back then was primarily makeup.
Right.
Do it yourself, little tips and advice here and there. And she was, as the story goes, she was there watching it one day. And my husband, Jeff, walked in, and he said, what you doing? She goes, I'm watching these YouTube videos. And he goes, you should do that. You could do that. And that was her
license to be able to do it.
Yes, and to tell us. Yeah. So I remember some of the early ones. And I thought, at first I thought, well, that's a cool little hobby. And I think that's what she thought as well. But I remember seeing that she truly did have a passion for it. There was a real passion there.
When you say that she told you, how did she tell you?
Well, when she finally told us she was making them and posting them, she said, Mom and Dad, I promise I'm not putting my address out there. I'm being really careful about anything in the background. So me being hesitant, Jeff was probably more on board. I'm like, okay, like, all right.
Now this is a 15-year-old.
No, she didn't upload for a couple years.
Okay.
Yeah, after she actually had her channel. So we still had a couple years to go. But then what happened was she came one day and she actually asked permission, which I'm so grateful that her and Ashley both have always been like that.
Right.
But she said, Mom, look, YouTube wants to pay me a little bit. I'm actually getting some views, some subscribers. And it's not much, Mom. It's not much, but they need our address.
To send the check.
Exactly. And that's when it was more official. And I really knew that, okay, this is a thing that looks like, at that point I still thought it was just a hobby, but a hobby she was clearly really passionate about. So we said, okay.
And when did Ashley get on board on videos?
Well, when they moved out of the house, our house, they went out to Orange County to go to college. That was about, I'd say, 5.5 years ago. So Ashley began filming for Alisha. little sidetrack, which I do. Back when they lived at the house, Alisha sometimes, as this was all beginning to pick up momentum, she'd say, "Hey, Mom, I need to go to Michael's or Target to get some things for a DIY. You want to come?" And that was really some fun memories.
Right.
I really treasure those. We'd go down to the store, get the goods, as she calls it, and go back, and it was really cool to watch this creative idea in her mind happen.
Even early on, she would plan out what the video was going to be in advance.
Yep.
You'd have to for DIY.
Right.
And did she have like a shopping list? So you're at Michael's walking around trying to find these different items for the video?
Yes, very specific. You're right. And being a producer is one of the things these YouTubers have to do, right? Create it, produce it, star in it, edit it, all that. I think she had to have that end goal clear. So yes, she would have a very detailed list. We go get the things, and then once in a while we come back to, "Mom, could you hold the camera for me?" Because she really didn't have anyone to help her. It was all her. And so I'd hold the camera once in a while, awkwardly, but she had to teach me how. And then to watch the finished product, I thought, okay, this is really something. How all these things come together to make the video and all the demands of it. So anyway, fast forwarding up to when they moved out of the house, Ashley began being her videographer. And it was so cool for me. They've always been close, and I'm so grateful as mom, that they've always been close. But watching Ashley's support of Alisha, because she was still in school full time, and but she loved helping Alisha. And again, speaking of the word passion, I saw a real passion in Ashley as her videographer. She would just do whatever it took to learn it more. Alisha would teach her.
And get the shot.
And get the shot. If it took half a day, they would get the shot. And I remember asking Ashley one time, I go, "You ever think about photography or video for you?" She goes, "Mom, I just love helping Alisha." She goes, "Maybe I'll take a class to get even better at photography, but I really love helping." And she does have a big part of her personality is a helper, like a support. So it was neat watching her support Alisha. Well, during that time, little probably known to both of them, Ashley was learning the whole craft of the whole thing. And so Alisha, now it's being reciprocated in supporting Ashley. I love watching the mutual support. She's like, "Ashley, I think you should start a channel." Ashley's like, "No way, I don't think so. I can't see me in front of the camera. I can't picture myself." But Alisha kept on, because she's quite an encourager. I've noticed that's one of her gifts. She'll encourage people to really develop their full potential of whatever their passions and giftings are, So she starts in on Ashley. But before you know it, I'm not sure how long it took, but probably within a year maybe, Ashley posted her first video.
And then she has a ton of photos on her Instagram account.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, I love seeing her pictures.
Now, both girls are in the same basic genre of video. I'm going to ask a two-part question.
Okay.
One, how are they the same? And then how are they different?
Wow, I don't know. I think as far as the same, not to sound too general, but I really seriously believe they're really positive role models for all their subscribers and all their fans out there. And there's a lot of negative messages screaming at young women's minds these days more than ever. And so for Ashley and Alisha both, this is what I think is common. I think their message, maybe even unconsciously or consciously, either one, but is like, no, you don't get your value and your identity from all of these lies, all these voices screaming at you, You're you. Be the you were created to be. And so that positive message, I think it shines through all their videos.
And then how are they different?
Different. Ashley's seem, this is a good question. It's wow, how are they? Alicia's series, like the series that they do, in which Ashley's a part of often too, like Roommate Wars and things like that. There's a full developed series, and there will be different themes through those series, usually with some comedy mixed in there, which is great. Not always with comedy though. So I would say it like a produced series in that sense. One time Alisha described her channel like a magazine that has several different topics you can choose from. So I could see that too, the different topical videos. And Ashley's, I see that there seems to be, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but times when she's just talking to her audience as a big sister maybe, or as a best friend. And though her video, although the main topic might be DIY or study tips and back to school advice and this type of thing, somewhere in there are going to be little nuggets of life advice and wisdom. So in reading the comments on both girls' channels, which I like to do from time to time, the commonality would be, wow, you made my day. I mean, I was feeling really down today. I was feeling discouraged, but Alisha, your video, Ashley, your video, you just made me feel better about life, you know?
Do you know the demographics of their viewers?
No, not off the top of my head. It used to be like 12 to 22, but I don't know if that's changed for both of them.
And then you mentioned that Alisha had started as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen her life change? And I'm going to ask the same question for Ashley, too, since it's become a full-time job.
I think the first thing that pops into my head is from a fun, carefree hobby that's just fun to, kick around a camera and create something and post it and have fun with it, to the full realization and responsibility that there's 12 million people watching me, and wow, I really am influencing their life,
right,
just being me, which is amazing, but it has a weight to it, I think.
There's a certain responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
Turning to you a second.
Okay.
Are you on social media?
in like, do I follow it?
No. Are you personally on it?
No.
No. So are you on Facebook at all?
No. Never have been.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
No.
Have you ever posted your own YouTube video?
Never.
Which I assume I know the answer to this. Are you on Snapchat?
I'm on that, but just to follow the kids, just to see what they're up
to. Have you ever tweeted?
No.
Have you ever posted your own Instagram photo?
Never. But last week I learned on my cell phone, if I push dial call, it works better. No. Not really.
What, you use your phone as a phone? Let's say you were a YouTube influencer.
Okay.
What would be your first video?
Ooh, I think it'd be fun to do something crazy and goofy with moms. People in my age, like one time we went to Alicia's Girls Night In tour, actually a few times, and it was amazing. Little side note, it was one of those moments when I really, there's been moments along this journey of me like just not sure what I thought about it, just because of the safety, the privacy, the stress on the lifestyle for the kids, but I've come on this journey to where I embrace it now, and it's like I think it's a very, very cool thing. And if there's anybody out there influencing all these young women, I'm glad it's my kids. But I got off track. I was at this girls' night in thing, and a mom came up to me, and she had tears in her eyes, and she says, "Thank you." It was Alicia's first GNI tour, actually, and she had tears in her eyes, and she goes, "Thank you." And I said, "For what?" She goes, "For your daughter." And she meant it, and she took my arm and she said, "Your daughter has made such a positive difference in my daughter, and I just can't thank you enough." And I don't even fully know what that comment meant, but that was one of those moments when it really drove home to me. Right. Plus times when I've watched both Alisha and Ashley, we'd be out at a restaurant or...
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, the first time you were with them when somebody recognized them.
Yes, that was another aha moment for me when it really came home, and I thought, wow, what's happening here is way bigger than anything I could ever. And we, in all honesty, even though I'm a worrywart, Jeff and I both have always tried to support them in what they want to do. We haven't tried to ever be, the controlling in that way in any way. We say, well, find your passion and dream that God's put there and go for it. And it looks like they have. That's a really cool thing. But we're at a restaurant, and a subscriber came up, just, the little typical, it's Alisha Marie. But when I saw the joy and the tears that were genuine, I thought, Chris, this is one out of, at that point, I think it was like maybe only like 2 million. And that was a real aha moment for me, that the joy that they're bringing, it's a real thing.
Well, I've heard it said that the difference between like a TV actress and a YouTube star is the YouTube star is so much more accessible.
Right.
They don't have a posse around them.
Right.
And then they're out in public.
Yeah, that's true. And I think they feel a connection too because of the comments of YouTube versus traditional talent.
Yeah, it's two-way communication as opposed to one-way.
Right. So they know that there's a chance anyway that their YouTube person that they love watching actually saw their comment.
Right. And then VidCon.
Oh, yeah.
They can go down.
Yes.
So how do you and I'll get to YouTube in a second, how do you consume media or content? Do you have cable TV?
You're going to laugh, but we actually don't have cable TV right now. And it's a funny story, but my husband, he loves sports, and sometimes he said, and this was his decision, but he can get really wrapped up in it. He said, you know what? I can watch it on individual channels, which Alisha bought him one for a gift, which was cool, like that MLB thing. But so he turned off the cable, so we really don't even have cable.
How much YouTube do you watch a day?
Oh, I do watch YouTube now on my phone and on the TV sometimes. I'd say 30 minutes to some days, maybe if I get really on a roll, a couple hours. I could go a couple hours. Oh, you asked. You know what, John? I got off track, didn't I?
No, that's okay.
You asked a question about. So on that first girls' night in, I get out.
I was going to circle you back.
You'll circle me back. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at the girls' night in thing, one of the other moms of some of the YouTubers that were on the same tour, we found ourselves just waiting in the same waiting room, and we were just in a silly mood, I guess, and we got silly and goofy, and we started joking around. And so we made a pretend mom's vlog, that the kids videoed, and they were just busting up laughing. Everybody was cracking up. So we said, one of these days we should do a mom's channel.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
Answer your question.
You talked about how it felt seeing a mom or having a mom come up to you and seeing little other fans come up. How does it feel seeing your child employ a group of professionals, agents, managers, lawyers, basically assembling a team?
Yes, I think it's awesome. When it all first started growing so quickly, and it did grow quickly, it seemed like everything happened all at one time, so it's kind of blurry in my mind. But when they moved out of our house, I don't know if there's any significance there, but they moved into their apartment. And Alicia's channel first, it just started exploding, just going so quickly. And we knew right away that this is bigger than anything. We needed advice and experience. So, we're praying for a good, solid team of just good people to surround her. And really that happened, and you are a big part of that. And it's kind of funny how it's such a small world because a common, and actually an insurance agent that I knew of you. And I was just, the way I can do, venting one day to him going, we need a team of people. He said, I know one of the best and most honest attorneys there are. And he gave me your number. And one thing led to another. And to this day, I can sit here and say, we have a super strong team for both girls. And it's just awesome. But yeah, we knew instantly we needed that. They needed that.
And you're fortunate to realize that because so many times people come to me about 6 months, a year too late.
Yes.
How do you feel about the free trips, the perks, the products they receive? Have you come to grips with people just give them things to get them to try to use it?
Yes, that wasn't too hard to wrap my mind around, I would say, because it makes sense from an advertising standpoint.
Right.
I mean, once we understood that, goodness, the millennials, the teens, all the generations down below they're not watching TV anymore. They're watching YouTube, and that's where their eyes are, and advertisers have always been after that. That kind of makes sense to me. I think it took longer for Jeff and I to just, in general, wrap our minds around the whole concept of YouTube.
Now I'm going to get to kind of more big picture in the sense of, do you think a career in social media is sustainable?
For a lifetime?
For a lifetime.
I just have to honestly say I don't know. But if I had to guess, I would say yes, only because I don't see it going away anytime soon. I don't ever see traditional, say, television replacing YouTube because of that engagement factor we were talking about.
Right. No, I agree with you. But
yeah.
Now, what do you think? Do you think it is a long-term occupation for either one of your daughters?
For Ashley and Alisha? I guess I honestly don't know. It's kind of like, we'll see.
We're on uncharted territory.
Yes, it is. That's a good way to put it. It's uncharted, yeah. I could see how it could be. And part of that is simply, I guess, you for example, I'm a musician and music teacher. Like, you look at the bands over history that have had longevity.
Right.
They had to be flexible. They had to rebrand once in a while. They had to change with the times and stay relevant. Well, I think with social media, it'll probably be the same.
You have to continually reinvent yourself.
But again, that's a guess.
Well, because YouTube's only a little over 10 years old. We don't know.
Yes, so new.
I once heard an influencer say that your life is your job. Have you seen that as true with Ashley and Alisha?
Yes, in the sense that if you're a YouTube celebrity, people want to watch your life. They're watching your life, whether it's a main channel or a vlog. I think that's one of the reasons vlogs got so popular, is people want to see a real, genuine person living a real, genuine day. So in that sense, yes, the job is the life. Now, the negative side of that is trying to separate that, because that can become so stressful.
Would you remember the movie 10 years ago, Truman, where it was a guy that was in a big bubble and everything was manufactured, but he didn't realize it was fake?
Oh.
And everybody was tuning in to watch him?
I saw part of it, and I have this funny habit. I get often bored with movies, and I didn't see the end, but I remember the beginning.
YouTube is kind of like that.
Exactly.
You had talked about watching both daughters' videos. Do you watch every video they upload?
Yes, I do. I'm proud of them.
And do you look at every Instagram post they post?
No, since I'm not on Instagram, I tell them occasionally, I said, I think I need to sign up for Instagram. Like, nah, Mom.
So you're not even on Instagram at all?
I'm not even on.
Not even to consume?
No, but I go on you can go on the public way through and watch that. I'd say once a week or so, roughly, I'll go and just see all their new pictures.
And do you read their tweets?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yes.
When you watch the video, do you read all the comments?
Not all. There's no way. I'll read the first string of them, especially on a new one, when a new one first comes out the first day or so. But that's about it. There's just no way to read them all.
Do you ever give a like or a comment yourself?
I always do a like. And no, I've never done a comment. I've thought about it. I think I need to do that. Yeah.
A mystery comment.
See if they'll know who I am.
So when your girls were little and
Yes.
somebody criticized them, how did you react?
Well, probably like any mom, you try to be objective and not biased,
How is it when
you try.
Now, because comments on the internet are anonymous.
Oh, yes.
How hard is that to read a negative comment?
Well, they told Alisha, she really has taught us a lot about this from the beginning when everything started happening so quickly, then her channel first. She said, hey, it's okay. It's part of it. She doesn't take it personally. And
But do you as a mom take it personally?
well, one time I did, just a little though, honestly, not a whole lot, but a little bit I did. And it's when she took this break recently.
Yes.
I thought that was an incredibly brave and wise thing to do. And really, part of the draw, they say for YouTube, the subscribers say, we want to see someone being genuine and truthful and honest and real and authentic and all those things. So I think when Alisha made that one video where she explained a little more in detail how difficult it can be to be an influencer, a YouTube influencer, she got a lot of hate on that one. And that one I took a little personal. I read it, I'm like, guys, some of them were so cruel and mean. As a mom,
Right.
you feel it too, And I thought, wow, I wonder if this is bothering Alisha. But I couldn't help, and her and I talked about it, and she was fine. But I couldn't help but think of how it was ironic that these same people that will say, we want a video once a week, and we want you to be authentic and real. And then when she did step out there and say, okay, guys, I want to show you a little more reality. Here's how it really is. They came at her. They totally misunderstood. They just totally, it went right over their head, her purpose and intent of that video.
Right.
And they came back saying, you have no right to complain. And she wasn't complaining at all. But anyway, be that as it may, I think taking a break was such a
Good thing for
a
her.
wise thing, yeah, and very mature. And it even, I feel like she helped so many people besides herself, because it gave other people, not just YouTubers, but I know she was written up in Entrepreneur Magazine and Forbes Magazine and Variety Magazine and who knows who else,
Right.
So it brought attention to professionals in all realms to say, you know what? It's okay to be me and take care of myself first and realize at the end of the day, my job is just my job. It's not me.
Right. The problem with YouTube people, though, is that it's 24/7. They're constantly videoing, especially with the vlogs.
Right.
They're kind of following themselves around with the camera. that it takes real discipline to turn it off.
Yes. And I've seen that discipline growing in them, so that's a good thing.
Shifting gears a little bit, but other than your daughters,
Yes.
do you have favorite people you always go back to on YouTube?
Ooh, I like music ones. I watch some drumming videos, which I enjoy. I watch some music videos that I enjoy. Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you the same question on Instagram, but you're not on Instagram.
I know. Isn't it funny?
You have been in their videos.
I have.
I'm going to start first where you weren't in this video, but Alisha Marie did a video called 10 Different Types of Parents.
Yeah, I love that one.
And there are helicopter parents, always running late parents.
Check.
Okay, so are you a helicopter parent?
I think I have been at times.
Okay. Are you an always
Especially,
running?
did you see it? Did you see the
did.
scene in the
I
beginning
did.
where she's peering through the window?
Peering through the...
I think, maybe she should buy me a coffee since I was inspiration.
That's right. Always running late.
Done it, been there today.
Party parents. You don't strike me as a party.
I don't see it so much, but
Gym parents.
I don't know. I've always had a treadmill, but that's about it.
Try hard mom.
Probably.
A fur baby, and I didn't know what a fur baby was until I saw that it was a dog.
Oh, we've always been a dog family. We've always loved dogs. That cracked me up, though, that scene when they had Chloe.
Competitive parent.
Competitive. I forget. Oh!
Their kids are always competing. They're not, an A- isn't good enough.
No, that definitely was not me. No. We were like, if you're trying your best, we're happy.
Strict parent.
Ooh. Actually, I don't know. I've always had... That's a hard one for me to gauge. I think, just guessing looking back, I probably leaned more towards lenient than... But there was a balance there. I don't know. Maybe we got it right there. I don't know. Maybe they'll tell us when they were parents someday.
Ashley had you in one. You were the star of one of the videos. It was the Mom Goes Shopping for Me challenge.
Mom Goes Shopping. That was so much fun.
How long was that in the planning?
She asked me maybe 3 weeks earlier, hey, Mom, when we were just kicking back watching some show. By the way, she's gotten me to where I enjoy watching some TV shows now and actually like it. This Is Us, that's been the latest one. And so, you know how I told you I used to get bored with movies and quit? I'm into it now. It's a cool thing. So we were doing that.
TV thing, it's a good thing.
I know.
It'll probably stay around.
I know it. So she said, hey, Mom, if I were to do a video, like you go shopping for me, would you want to do it? I said, sure, that sounds fun. Why not? So we did. It was a blast.
And did you plan out in advance? Basically, the concept was you buy 3 different outfits for her, and you have her try them on and rate them.
Yes.
Did you think out in advance what you were going to get, or did you just go shopping?
I had a general idea and could not find any of them. That was frustrating. Yes.
And of the outfits that you bought, one of them, I think, Ashley said that it looked like you were buying it for yourself.
Yes. Exactly.
How hard was it to pick out something for... I assume you shopped for them when they were little.
Yes.
And then that stopped at a certain age. And
Yes.
now it's been
They become
a long time.
A long time, yes. The little kid outfits, it's been a long time. We joked about that in the video. That was tough. As I said, I did have some ideas and could not find any of them. Maybe I went to the wrong stores, who knows. But the one that she did like the most, I had thought of that earlier, so that worked out pretty well.
So that was a pre-planned. Mm-hmm. What about doing this video has given you more insight into what they do?
We had a blast at this. The shopping I actually got a little stressed out, the way I can do, because I wasn't finding what I was after. But we had a blast later with the filming of her trying it on, and I closed my eyes in surprise. We just all got the giggles. Even the photographer did. And so I think that element of just seeing how, because at first I was a tiny bit nervous, but when I saw how, wow, we really can just be ourselves and get the giggles, and it really is fun. And not only that, the subscribers liked seeing us have fun. And by the time it was done, the photographer, we were all just cracking up.
Because I know you started, it's like, can we start again?
Yeah. Remember? Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that you really can just, it's really true. The more relaxed, the more you do it. And of course the girls I'm not there at all. I've only done the one. But they've gotten so natural at it and confident. It's awesome.
So do you have plans to be in more?
No, not at this point. If they ask me, though, I will do it just for the sheer fun of doing something with them.
You talked about supporting them and helping them. How do you do that?
Well, I guess a few ways. One, just in general, we've tried to be positive, Jeff and I both, at whatever they wanted to be. Like when they weren't, we alluded to when they were earlier, and how most young kids will do in high school. The pressure comes on high schoolers, doesn't it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I think it comes on them too much. And then,
what are you going to do? Where are you going to go to college?
Yeah, the pressure. But then those early years of college, and you try some things. But we've always tried to be like, look, whatever you guys decide, it's okay to change your mind. We're with you. We're on your side. We're in your court. Just you'll figure it out, and don't stress. We'd say take one step after another. You'll just know, and that does seem to be the way it played out in this case. And then now, on a more practical level, it's kind of a funny story. I was a music major, and but I stumbled backwards in my early 20s. I think I was actually 20. To work for IRS, of all places. I didn't even know what it was.
Music major IRS.
Yeah,
Music major IRS.
We're talking polar opposite. Right. I wasn't even sure what IRS did but I needed a job. I became a clerk. Well, 9 years later, it was interesting. I learned a lot about taxes. I ended up being an auditor. So I always wondered, why in the world did I work for IRS? Because after that, I went back to music teaching and playing and stuff like that. So as Alisha's channel, first and foremost, started growing, she needed some help there with the bookkeeping, with making sure her taxes were done the right way and all that kind of thing, finding the right CPA. So it was a very natural thing for myself to slide into that role. And then for Ashley, secondly, as she started growing in her channel. And then Jeff also, he slid into that too as far as helping with bookkeeping. So on a practical level, we help that way.
Do you ever give feedback on their videos?
Mm-hmm. I tell them when I have a favorite one, like the 10 types of parents, or Ashley's last back to school tips, I just thought was like amazing. And so when there's one that's favorite like that, I'll tell them, whoa, I really liked that one extra. Yeah. But I generally like them all. But yeah, I'll tell them extra. They always are going to get a mom text. They know that.
You've heard the term stage parent?
I have. Not sure what it is.
It is the parent that's always around. It generally was coined with TV parents.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself to be a stage mom?
Give me a little more definition.
There when they're shooting, there in the process.
Not at all. Not at all. And it sort of naturally evolved that way. One, because remember their channels took off when they moved out of our house. So I wasn't there. I mean, literally, physically. And then I noticed when they get into their creative zone, a creative vibe, they process internally. Like it's not something that it's not helpful to them to share it with myself or with Jeff.
To talk it out.
Yeah, they don't need to talk it out. They create it on the inside. They produce it. They don't even really like me to be around when they're editing, because they like us to see it when it's the finished product.
Has your life changed as a result of their success?
Yes.
How so?
They've taught me a lot. Well, for one thing, back to the early days, I guess about 5.5 years ago, as I shared earlier, I was a worrywart, over-analytical for a lot of things. One, what about the privacy? One, what about the crazy stressful schedule that you're under? That's a lot of pressure. Just on and on. I went from saying, honey, are you sure this is what you want to do? To now going, this is really cool. And for as long as you want to do it, I am so on board. I think it's amazing, So it's changed my life from being more fearful to being just, I guess, more brave. And I've learned that from them, to not be afraid of these things. I was even like afraid of traveling a lot. I don't know why. I mean, that probably gives a wrong picture of me. It's not that I didn't travel, but I just had a very small world. We grew up, you get a job, we had our family, and it was all pretty localized.
Right.
But the next thing I know, they move out to go to college, and they're flying to London, they're flying to Thailand, they're flying to Tokyo, they're going, I think Alisha's been to New York 13 times now, and it's not slowing down,
Right.
So I quickly had to come to terms with either lose sleep at night more or wrap my arms around it and say, hey, you know what?
This is their life.
This is their life. This is their purpose. They love it, and I'm going to embrace it and just have faith that they're going to be great.
Last question.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for other parents whose children want to be an influencer or are an influencer?
Ooh, I used to think I had a lot of advice for parents before I had kids. I did. I had been to a few of those. You read the books and this, but it's like it sure is individual, isn't it? For example, one place where I played drums recently, a mom came up to me and her daughter. She really wanted to be a YouTube influencer, and she was doing okay. She was a vocalist and doing all right. But then I would run into them every couple of months, and they'd give me updates. And it wasn't for her daughter. She would come to me it was for mom. I saw that.
That's a stage parent.
Okay, that wasn't me. That wasn't us then. Now I know I was not. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
it was more for mom. And finally the little girl, and they would. I saw the frustration, love rise in both of them. And finally, the mom came up to me and she says, "Well, my daughter decided." She said, "Mom, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be on YouTube." And so the mom was, but yeah. Right. So advice, I think let them be them. Look to see what path is already in their heart, and that might change. That might change a few times. It did for me. I don't know anyone that has known right off the bat, and stayed right with the same plan. But maybe
I wanted
that
to be
happens.
a professional football player.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good for
and then
you.
a race car driver.
Okay, that's two.
That's two.
Okay. So just let them grow into who they were purposed to be, and just be there to be their cheerleader and support them. Just be in their corner.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure.
Me too. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.